I'm taking your promotion bonus, $48,000, to pay for your sister's honeymoon, Dad said. She deserves happiness after her divorce. I transferred the money. 3 weeks later, I saw charges. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, nothing related to a honeymoon. I called the bank. Dispute every transaction. When the credit card company called her the night my dad told me he was taking my promotion bonus, I was still wearing my name tag. It was a Tuesday in late March, 7:42 p.m. according to the little digital clock over the bar at Baxter's Grill in Omaha. I'd driven in from Lincoln after a full day of store visits, still smelling like fabric protector and showroom coffee. "Daddy, can I get extra fries?" my daughter asked. Emma was 8, swinging her heels under the booth, using a crayon to make the kids' menu maze look like a crime scene. Her future interior designer t-shirt was half covered by the too big Baxter's bib. "Yeah, Bug," I said. "Extra fries are a human right." She grinned and went back to coloring. Her being happy was the only reason I'd agreed to family dinner with my parents on a work night. Dad lifted his beer. "To my son," he said loudly enough that the couple in the next booth looked over. "Regional sales manager for Midwest Comfort Home." He butchered the company name, but the pride sounded real. Mom smiled like a campaign poster. "We're so proud, Doug. All that hard work finally paying off." "Thanks," I said, cheeks warm. HR said the bonus will hit Friday. 48 grand pre-tax. I'd already mentally parked it on a down payment and bumping up Emma's 529. Dad's eyes sharpened at the number. That should have been my warning. The server dropped our food. Emma started counting fries under her breath. I watched her lips move. 1, 2, 3. Her little tongue stuck out between her teeth. My chest loosened. This was why I did all of it. The territory driving, the hotel rooms, the endless PowerPoints about sectional configurations. Dad cleared his throat. "So," he said too casually, "about that bonus." My stomach did a small drop. "What about it?" He laced his fingers together on the table like he was about to deliver a performance review. "Your sister's honeymoon." "Kelly's?" I asked. "The divorce just finalized last month." I didn't know there was a honeymoon. "There will be," Mom said quickly. "She deserves something nice after what that man put her through." Dad nodded. "She deserves happiness after her divorce. We've all decided your bonus is the perfect way to give her that." I blinked. "Come again. You don't need all that money right now," Dad said. "You're renting. You're fine. Kelly, on the other hand, has been through hell. The least we can do as a family is send her somewhere decent. Greece, maybe. Not some cheap cruise." "Grandpa, is Aunt Kelly going to see dolphins?" Emma asked, looking up. My throat went dry. "Bug, finish your fries," I said softly. My voice sounded like it was coming from the other end of the restaurant. Dad kept going. "I'm taking your promotion bonus, all 48,000, to pay for your sister's honeymoon." He said it like, "I'm taking the breadbasket." I stared at him. My brain started counting without permission. 48,000. My rent. Emma's summer camp deposit. The quote for the used SUV I'd been eyeing. "It's not optional, Douglas," Mom added, smoothing her napkin. "Family helps. We've carried you plenty of times." Emma's hand froze over a fry. Her eyes flicked between our faces. Her mouth had that tight look it gets when she's trying to read the room. Dad leaned in, reasonable, gentle, deadly. "You want your sister to be okay, don't you? After everything? Or are you really going to be selfish about a little money?" My hands went cold. My tongue felt thick. I could hear the clink of cutlery from the next table, the hum of the game on TV, Emma whisper counting again. She'd restarted. 1, 2, 3. "This is my promotion bonus," I said finally. "I earned it. And we're using it for family," Dad said. Same thing. The server reappeared with a smile and a refill. Nobody spoke while she set it down. When she left, Dad pushed his phone across the table. His banking app was open. His account number was on the screen. "Transfer it as soon as it lands," he said. "We need to book her flights." My heart pounded so hard I could feel it in my teeth. I looked at Emma's small fingers, greasy with salt, carefully making a ketchup smiley face. I didn't scream. I picked up Dad's phone and said, "Text me the routing number." "I'm Doug, 37, Regional Sales Manager for Homeist Furnishings, Midwest Region. I live in Lincoln, Nebraska in a 2-bedroom apartment with beige carpeting and a balcony that faces a parking lot. It's not glamorous, but it's ours. Mine and Emma's. I spend 3 to 4 days a week on the road, bouncing between Omaha, Des Moines, Sioux City, and whatever small-town strip mall corporate decides needs more accent chairs. My parents live in Council Bluffs, 20 minutes from my first store and a lifetime from reality. Growing up, money was always family money. If I got a birthday check from Grandma, it went into the house account. When I got my first part-time job at 17, Dad said, "You live here, you contribute." 50% of every paycheck went to him. At the time, I thought it was normal. Responsible. Looking back, it was training. The first time they grabbed something big, Emma was 2. My marriage was imploding, and we'd moved in with my parents temporarily so I could pay off our hospital bills from Emma's birth. One afternoon, I came home from a double shift at the showroom to find Mom at the dining room table with a shiny new credit card. "Look," she said brightly. "We got approved." "For what?" I asked. Dad waved the card. "Home repairs. Roof's leaking. Used your credit since ours is maxed. Don't worry, I'll make the payments." He didn't. 3 months later, I was on the phone with Chase arranging a payment plan for a roof I didn't own. I told myself it was fine. Temporary. The second time was my tax refund the year after my divorce. I'd filed early, got a little over $3,200 back. I remember the exact number because I had written it on a sticky note and stuck it to the fridge. Emma's preschool plus emergency fund. Mom pulled the check out of the mailbox before I got home. "We put it toward Kelly's car payment," she said when I found out. "She was behind, and she can't lose her car. She's been through enough." "She can't keep a job," I said. "That's different." Mom's mouth tightened. "You're being cruel, Douglas. Family helps. We'll pay you back," Dad added, already turning back to the TV. They never did. I paid Emma's preschool tuition in 3 installments and overdraft twice. I told myself it was fine. Temporary. The third time was childcare. Emma was 5. I'd just started with Homonist, entry-level sales rep, desperate to keep the job. Mom offered, insisted, on watching Emma after school. "We're happy to help," she'd said. "Besides, daycare is so cold. This way, she's with family." 2 weeks in, she handed me a printed contribution schedule, $80 a week for groceries, utilities, and gas. When I hesitated, Dad chimed in. "You don't think your child eats?" he asked. Again, family helps. I paid it. When I couldn't afford it, they made comments. "You're always short. It's not our fault you chose to be a single dad. You should have tried harder to keep your family together." Emma learned fast. Kids do. She learned that we talk quietly when Grandpa's around. That we say thank you when Grandma hands us anything, even if she sighs at the same time. That we never, ever complain about being tired, because Grandma is always more tired. One night, Emma came home from their house extra quiet. She climbed up next to me on the couch, clutching her stuffed sloth. "Grandma said you owe her your life," she said softly, "because she let us live there." My jaw clenched. "She shouldn't say that to you." Emma looked down at the sloth. "Is it true?" My first instinct was to say yes, to excuse my mother like I always did. Instead, something in my chest pulled tight. "No," I said. "I don't owe anyone my life. And neither do you." She nodded, but her shoulders curved in a little. That's the moment that keeps replaying when I think about all of this. Her small body shrinking to fit whatever shape my parents wanted. I told myself it was temporary. Just until I got promoted. Just until I could breathe. It wasn't. The bonus landed on a Friday at 3:08 p.m. I was in the back office of our Omaha showroom, shoulder deep in a spreadsheet about dining sets, when my phone buzzed. Wells Fargo. Deposit $31,614.23 from Homonist Furnishings payroll. After taxes and 401k, my 48 grand looked smaller, but it was still more money than I'd ever seen in my checking account at once. I stared at the number. Down payment, my brain whispered. Debt-free car. Actually sleeping at night. Then a second notification. "Dad, bonus hit yet?" The knot that had been living under my sternum tightened. I didn't answer. I had a store walk to finish and a manager who wanted to argue about floor sets. By the time I got back to my hotel that night, there were 8 messages. Mom. Douglas, your father is very stressed about booking Kelly's flights. Dad, need you to send the funds tonight. Dad, we found a package to Santorini. Mom, don't make this difficult. Kelly is already so fragile. Kelly, hey, I didn't ask for this, okay? Kelly, but I can't remember the last time someone did something nice for me. Mom, if you don't want to help your own sister after everything she's been through, just say that. Dad, we're not going to beg you to be part of this family. The last one hit the old bruise. The conditional membership. The membership I'd been paying dues on since I was 16. I texted back. Me. This was supposed to be for a down payment. I'll send some, not all. Dad called immediately. Don't you dare nickel and dime your sister's happiness, he snapped. 48,000 doesn't even go far these days. You think Greece is cheap? Dad, be serious, I said. You can send someone on a decent honeymoon for 10 grand. 20 at most. He snorted. What? You want to send her to a Motel 6? Why does the entire cost have to come from me? I asked. She's your daughter, too. We've done plenty, he said. We let her move back in. We're paying utilities. You're the one with a big fancy title now. His voice shifted into that reasonable tone that always made me feel 12. This is how families work. When one of us rises, we all rise. I rubbed my eyes. I worked for this. And we're asking you to share, he said. Transfer the full amount to my account tonight. Or don't bother showing up Sunday. There it was. The lever. Got it, I said, voice flat. Text me the routing and account numbers. I hung up, opened my banking app, and stared at the screen until the numbers blurred. My hands were cold. My mouth was dry. Emma was at her mom's that weekend. The apartment was too quiet. I entered Dad's information. Typed in $31,614.23. Hit confirm. A little spinning wheel, then. Transfer successful. $31,614.23 to Richard J. Thomas. I took a screenshot. Then I opened my text thread with Dad and took another of his "I'm taking your promotion bonus" message from the restaurant. I created a folder in my phone called Family Money Nonsense. Then I renamed it Exhibits, Dad and Kelly. 3 weeks later, I was in a Fairfield and outside Des Moines, half watching some home renovation show, when my phone buzzed again. Capital One. Purchase $4,389.17 Gucci Chicago. Capital One. Purchase $2,972.88 Louis Vuitton Chicago. Capital One. Purchase $5,611.40 Cartier Chicago. At first, I thought it was fraud. Random fraud. The normal kind. Then I remembered. Last fall, Kelly had no credit history after the divorce. She couldn't get a card on her own. I, idiot older brother, had added her as an authorized user on my Capital One account just for emergencies. I'd told her, groceries, gas, nothing big, and then promptly forgotten about it because the balance stayed low. She barely used it. I sat up, heart pounding. Capital One. Purchase $1,204.56 Spa Luxe Omaha. Capital One. Purchase $879.20 Hair by Gia Omaha. My fingers flew over the screen. I opened the Capital One app. The balance I'd been keeping under $2,000 was now just over $19,000. I scrolled through the last week. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, flight to Chicago, high-end salon, spa, another spa. Nothing even close to Expedia, Delta, Marriott, or anywhere in Greece. No photos from a whitewashed villa. No Instagram posts with blue water. Just my sister shopping like a real housewife on a card with my name on it, using a bonus that was supposed to change my kid's life. My hands shook. I took screenshots. All of them. Then I texted. Me. What's going on with my Capital One card? No answer. Me. $19K in charges in a week. Gucci, Louis Vuitton, Cartier, Spa Luxe. That's not a honeymoon. 3 dots. Then Dad, not Kelly. Dad. Don't accuse your sister of anything. She needed clothes. We talked about this. Me. You told me my bonus was for her honeymoon. Dad. She's going to have a honeymoon. This is all related. Stop micromanaging. Me. Where are her tickets? What hotel is she staying at? Send me the booking confirmation. Dad. We're handling it. Me. Hotel name. Dates. Flight numbers. Dad. You're being controlling. This is why you're alone. I stared at that last line. The old guilt tried to rise. This is about you being unlovable, not about theft. I took a breath. Screenshot. Dad's texts. The transfer. The Capital One charges. Email from HR about the bonus. All of it went into Exhibits, Dad and Kelly. That's when I stopped arguing and started documenting. I backed out of the app and hit the number on the back of my Capital One card. Thank you for calling Capital One, the automated voice said. Please tell me briefly what you're calling about. Dispute every transaction from the last 10 days. I said. Every single one. Capital One took it seriously the second I said the words unauthorized use by authorized user and coerced transfer. We'll open a fraud investigation, the rep, Haley said. Her voice was calm and professional. I'm going to ask you some questions about the account and the charges. This call is recorded. Good, I said. We went through it. She read off each big purchase, and I confirmed what I recognized. Gas, one Target run, and what I didn't. Everything with a logo and a French name. And you didn't approve your sister to make these luxury purchases? She asked. No, I said. I added her to help with groceries and gas while she got back on her feet. I never agreed to nearly 20 grand in designer shopping. Do you have any written communication about how the card was supposed to be used? She asked. I have texts where my father explicitly says he's taking my promotion bonus, all $48,000, to pay for my sister's honeymoon, I said. I have a screenshot of the transfer to his account. And I have 3 weeks of charges that have nothing to do with a honeymoon. Haley was quiet for a second. I could almost hear her eyebrows going up. Okay, she said. We're going to freeze the card and issue you a new one. I'm flagging all recent charges as disputed pending investigation. You'll receive forms by email tonight. Please attach any supporting documentation, screenshots, messages, bank transfers. Done, I said. My voice was steady. My hands weren't. Standard procedure is that we also contact any authorized users to verify their activity, she added. Is your sister reachable at this number ending in 7743? Yes, I said. That's her. I typed while we were still talking. I opened my Gmail and created a folder. Case, Capital One, April 2025. I uploaded everything. HR email. Wells Fargo transfer. Text with dad. Capital One statement. My own notes. After we hung up, I sat on the edge of the hotel bed and stared at the ugly beige carpet. Emma's unicorn drawing was taped to my laptop lid, a little crooked. My chest hurt. My phone buzzed again 20 minutes later. Dad. I didn't answer. 5 minutes after that, Kelly. I didn't answer. Then Mom. I put the phone face down and opened my laptop instead. Email from Capital One. We've opened an investigation on your account. Case ID 84762. 2025. I took a screenshot of that too. The fallout started the next afternoon. I was in the Lincoln store, walking a couple through sofa fabrics, when my Apple Watch lit up with a call from an unknown 800 number. I let it go to voicemail. Then another text from Kelly, all caps. Kelly, call me right now. I stepped into the break room and called her back. She didn't even say hello. What did you do? She screamed. They froze my card. The lady from Capital One called and grilled me like I'm a criminal. I was at Cartier, Doug. They embarrassed me. I closed the door gently. What did you tell them? That it's my card, she snapped. That my brother gave it to me as a divorce gift. Which you did. No, I said. I added you as an authorized user to help with groceries and emergencies. Not $20,000 in designer crap. It's not crap, she shot back. And you said I deserved something nice after what Brandon did to me. A spa day is something nice, I said. Half of Gucci is a personality disorder. She sucked in a breath. You're disgusting. What else did you tell Capital One? I asked. That you agreed to pay for my honeymoon, she said. That the bonus was for me. That all of this was part of that. And when they asked if the charges were part of a trip that's actually booked, I asked, what did you say then, Kel? What hotel are you staying at? What's your departure date? Silence. In the muffled quiet, I could hear Emma's voice from memory. Do we still have the down payment? My jaw clenched. The investigator called me afterwards, I said. They're adding your statement to the file. So is the text where Dad says he's taking my promotion bonus to pay for your honeymoon while you're sitting in Louis Vuitton? You're blowing this out of proportion, Kelly said. Dad said family helps. This is what helping looks like. Helping is me babysitting your kids so you can go to interviews, I said. Helping is me buying you groceries when your alimony is late. Draining my bonus and maxing my card so you can cosplay as rich people is not helping. It's theft. You wouldn't have anything without Mom and Dad, she hissed. They let you live with them. They watched Emma. They're the reason you didn't lose your kid. And I paid them for that, I said. With every paycheck, every refund, every little favor they turned into a bill. Her voice rose. Mom is crying. Dad is furious. He said if you don't fix this with the bank, he's done with you. The old fear flickered. Dad cutting me off. No more holiday invitations. No more access to the house where Emma's cousins played. Then I pictured Emma counting fries in Baxter's, trying to make her face small while Grandpa talked about my money like it was his. Okay, I said. Let him be done. Kelly sputtered. What does that even mean? It means, I said, that I'm done letting you treat my career like your ATM. Capital One will do their investigation. If they decide the charges are on me, I'll handle it with a lawyer. If they decide it's fraud, they'll handle it with you. Either way, I'm documenting everything. You wouldn't, she said, suddenly uncertain. You're not going to drag your own father into this with lawyers. I already did, I said. I filed a police report this morning for coerced transfer and credit card abuse. Case numbers in my notes if you want it. She went quiet. I could hear her breathing, fast and shallow. You're sick, she whispered. You're choosing money over family. No, I said. I'm choosing my kid over people who think her college fund is optional. I hung up before she could answer. That night, I drove to Wells Fargo and closed the joint emergency savings account I'd let my parents talk me into last year, the one they'd somehow always needed to borrow from. I changed every password attached to my banking and credit. I removed Kelly as an authorized user. I had my HR rep split my paycheck between 2 banks and sent the new account info to them before the weekend. The next morning, I sent a short email to my parents and Kelly with the subject line, Financial Boundaries, effective immediately. Going forward, I will not be providing any loans, transfers, or shared lines of credit to any family members. All existing shared accounts and authorizations have been removed. Please do not ask me for money or access to my accounts. Any future financial disputes will go through the appropriate legal channels, not private conversations. I attached the Capital One case email and a redacted copy of my police report. Then I turned my phone off and went to Emma's school for career day. Capital One sided with me. It took 6 weeks of emails. Their fraud team walked through everything. The bonus, the transfer to my dad, the luxury spree, the recorded call where Kelly chirped. My brother gave me this card as my divorce consolation prize, and Dad's texts about your promotion bonus and your sister's honeymoon. In the end, they reversed every big charge except 2 tiny grocery purchases. They closed the old account, sent me a new card, and flagged Kelly in their system. Just a heads up, the investigator said. She may have trouble opening accounts with us in the future. That's between you and her, I said. I'm out. Wells Fargo couldn't claw back the $31,614 I'd sent Dad, but the police report and my exhibits, Dad and Kelly, folder mattered when I sat down with a lawyer. You have a clear pattern here, she said, tapping the stack of screenshots. Coercion, financial dependence, lies about how the money would be used. You could sue, but it'll cost you emotionally. Decide if that's worth it. It wasn't. I let the lawsuit idea go. The report stayed on file. That was enough. I stopped going to Sunday dinners. The first Sunday, Emma and I made dinosaur-shaped pancakes. She laughed so hard she snorted syrup. We walked around the complex and judged strangers' couches through their windows. Yours is nicer, she decided. Except that one. That one looks like it eats people. When we got home, my phone was full. Mom, you're seriously not coming? Your father made pot roast. Dad, your behavior is disgusting. Kelly, hope your fancy couch keeps you warm when you die alone. I slid the phone into a drawer. A week later, Dad showed up unannounced. Emma was on the floor building a Lego coffee table. I opened the door. He pushed past me, breathing hard, eyes scanning my cheap furniture like a critic. You made your mother cry, he started. Kelly can't get a credit card now. You embarrassed us with that report. The officer read your statement out loud. I'm taking your promotion bonus, like I'm some kind of thief. I leaned against the door, blocking the hallway. If you don't want to sound like a thief, I said, don't say thief things on text. His jaw clenched. Call the bank. Tell them it was a misunderstanding. Fix this. You don't do this to family. Behind him, Emma quietly set a Lego person on her plastic sofa and turned it toward the TV. No, I said. I don't. Think about the holidays, he snapped. Your mother. Your sister. You really want your kid growing up without grandparents because you're obsessed with some money. Emma tilted her head, listening. I want my kid growing up knowing the difference between love and leverage, I said. If that means less pot roast, we'll survive. You're choosing money over family, he threw out the old line. I'm choosing Emma over your entitlement, I said. I opened the door wider. We're done talking about my money. If you want to see Emma, we can talk about meeting in a park, in public. But you don't come into my home and threaten my relationship with my kid because I wouldn't let you empty my accounts. He opened his mouth, closed it. For the first time, he looked small. You're not serious, he muttered. I am, I said. The officer asked you the same thing I'm asking now. Why were you entitled to his bonus? You didn't have an answer then. You don't now. I stepped aside. Goodbye, Dad. He waited a second for me to back down. I didn't. He walked out. The door clicked shut, small and final. Emma looked up from her Lego living room. Is Grandpa mad? Yeah, I said. He is. Is it my fault? My chest hurt. No, Bug. Grown-ups made bad choices with my money. I made better choices to fix it. That's all. She thought about it, then nodded. Are we okay? We're more than okay. I said. We're boring. Boring is good. She smiled. If we're boring, can we get a dog? Slow down. I laughed. Let's start with a plant.